Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the sport of wrestling inside the WWE world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my top 5 WWE Backlash matches of all time. These are the greatest Backlash matches, in my opinion, in the company's history. So my list will start off at number 1, and we'll get all the way down to number 5 in this bonus segment. So starting off with number 1, would be Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack in the hardcore match for the Intercontinental Championship at Backlash 2004. Now, Randy Orton and Cactus Jack, that hardcore match that took place at Backlash 2004 with the Intercontinental Championship being on the line, in my opinion, is the greatest WWE Backlash match in the company's history. But the story back in 2004 for this match was Randy Orton not having Evolution by his side. Evolution was barred from ringside for this hardcore title match. The Game Triple H, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the Animal Batista were all barred from ringside. Randy Orton had no help. He had to go one-on-one with one of the greatest hardcore legends of all time in Cactus Jack. But they hit it out of the park. They stole the show at Backlash 2004. The match was epic, and it was a violent, brutal, hardcore match. I mean, there was weapons involved. There were some violent spots. I mean, Randy Orton was bleeding, gushing like a stuffed pig, like the announcers JR and Jerry the King Lawler used to say back in the day. But Randy Orton took one hell of a beating in this match. And the epic spot where Randy Orton failed to hit the RKO on Cactus Jack and went back first into a pool of thumbtacks. And Randy Orton literally having thumbtacks in his back, bleeding, screaming in agony and in pain. You could tell that spot. He knew that was going to be one of the worst spots he was ever going to take in his illustrious career. But Randy Orton ended up winning this match by hitting the RKO on Cactus Jack, and hitting the RKO with Cactus Jack's face going face first into the barbed wire baseball bat. That night, the Legend Killer was born, and the Legend Killer, the Viper, Randy Orton, that was his big win to get him over as a main event star, to make us believe that he could be a legitimate main event threat for years and years to come. The rest is history. I think this is the greatest Backlash match in the company's history between Randy Orton and Cactus Jack. So match number 2 on my list. Match number 2 would be John Cena versus Shawn Michaels versus Edge versus Randy Orton. Fatal 4-way match for the WWE Championship at Backlash 2007. Now, this Fatal 4-way match between John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Randy Orton not only, in my opinion, is the second best Backlash match in the company's history, but this is one of the greatest Fatal 4-way matches in pro wrestling history. There was so much star power in this Fatal 4-way match, and all 4 of these respective guys were main event players, main event stars on the Monday Night Raw brand at that particular point and time frame in the WWE. But there was so much great in-ring chemistry, and the story was 2 former tag teams of John Cena and HBK. Remember, they held the World Tag Team titles, and then Rated RKO, former World Tag Team champions himself, all colliding on a collision course to walk out of Backlash that year with the WWE title. And there were some great spots. Great spots, several near falls. The finish was one of the greatest finishes of all time, with Edge hitting a spear on Randy Orton. Then John Cena ending up hitting the attitude adjustment, aka FU at the time, on Edge. Then Shawn Michaels hitting John Cena with a sweet chin music, only for Cena to fall back accidentally and pin Randy Orton, who was already fallen victim of the spear, winning the WWE title with Shawn Michaels trying to break up the 3 count at the last second. That was one of the most clever finishes in WWE history, and made all 4 wrestlers look legitimately strong in this Fatal 4-way match. So I gotta say that how that ending of the match happened with that so much star power, and Cena somehow, someway retained the title, which went on to be his epic and best world title run in the company's history. His 06-07 run with the title was tremendous. But as I digress, I think that was the second greatest Backlash match in the company's history. So number three on my list would be Triple H versus The Rock at Backlash 2000 for the WWF title. Now, this was an epic match between The Rock and Triple H, who legitimately that year in 2000 should have main evented WrestleMania by themselves. They were part of a Fatal 4-way match for the WWF title, but they got their rightful main event slot together at Backlash. And The story here was basically the McMahon family trying to keep all the titles together, hold the company hostage, with Vince McMahon being in charge and Triple H holding the WWF title at the time. Stephanie McMahon was the women's WWF champion, and Shane McMahon was a special guest referee for the match. So it was basically the McMahons versus The Rock. And in this match, there was some great in-ring wrestling with some dramatic storytelling, with Shane McMahon being the special guest referee, screwing over The Rock, doing the fast counts to help Triple H retain the WWF title. But I like the spot on the outside of the ring where The Rock, Triple H, and Shane McMahon were on the announce table, and somehow, someway, The Rock got both of Triple H and Shane up to hit the rock bottom and drive both of them through the announce table. All three men were down. That was one hell of a scene. But towards the end of the match, when The Rock's back was against the corner, it was the loud pop that captivated the entire night. When Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hit, he came down to do the right thing, help The Rock retain the WWF title, or regain the WWF title, and the crowd erupted. And Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife, actually came out and brought out a new referee after all the chaos happened to count the 3 count after Triple H was down and out, thanks to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, bitter rivals having a moment together, toasting a beer together, with The Rock winning the WWF title. That's everything you want in an Attitude Era moment to end a pay-per-view off with style and leave fans happy that were watching around the world and were in attendance that night. I like that match a lot. Definitely one of the best in my opinion. Number 4 would be Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at Backlash 2004. Now, this match took place last year in France. This was Cody Rhodes' first WWE title match as the WWE Champion under a PLE banner. And him and AJ Styles, I think this has to be one of the greatest matches that they've put together in this decade alone. And I think it's top 5 Cody Rhodes match of all time. And the France crowd was so behind Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, and damn it, they proved that night that they should get a WrestleMania coming to France somehow, somewhere, one day, based off of the electricity and the great atmosphere. You can feel the atmosphere, and I live in the States, and I'm watching the PLE at home, and I'm like, damn, the WWE should capitalize on this, because they have one hell of a crowd in France. But the match was great, several near falls, great overall wrestling. In the end, it was Cody Rhodes who retained his WWE Championship against AJ Styles, and I would put that as one of the greatest matches that took place in 2024, excuse me. And at number 5, I would put Chris Benoit versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I know Chris Benoit was not clearly a good person, but when you talk about wrestling and the history that he left behind, I still touch upon it in the podcast, because it's some rich history with some incredible moments. But as I digress, their triple threat match between Chris Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels, their triple threat match wasn't as good as their triple threat match at WrestleMania 20 that took place, a month before this rematch happened. But it was still an instant classic. This triple threat match was great. All three have great in-ring chemistry together, and Shawn Michaels played well, being a heel that night, because Chris Benoit being from Canada, Shawn Michaels and Triple H were getting booed out of the arena. Shawn Michaels did a good job being the great performer that he is, taking in what the crowd was doing and playing as a heel factor in this match. But I like the finish with Chris Benoit retaining the World Heavyweight Championship and defeating Shawn Michaels and Triple H again in a triple threat match. He was the hometown hero that night, being the babyface from Canada. It was a great finish with Chris Benoit having Shawn Michaels in the sharpshooter, and Shawn Michaels trying everything he can to break out of the submission, only being forced to tap out in the middle of the ring, with Triple H coming in the ring, sliding in the ring to try to break up the submission, but just was too little too late, and watch Chris Benoit hold the big goal, the World Heavyweight Championship, stand tall in their epic rematch. But those are my top 5 WWE Backlash matches in the company's history. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Cyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.